started paying for this stone. He said he started paying for the stone in 2017.
No, absurd.
Like, he's been paying for it since.
$24 million to look like my boy Vision.
Yeah. No, like, it's super cool thing to be like, yeah, I have $24 million on my fucking forehead. Also,
I'm not gonna lie.
I
also fuck with the vibes. It looks dope. It looks cool. It could be a little more centered on his forehead, but regardless, it looks good. You know, I think
do you get that messed up, bro? How do you not center it? Of all things,
yo, that's got to be like a surgical procedure, right? Like
I would assume.
I don't know, but that scares the shit out of me to think about that it was a surgical procedure. That is petrifying.
It's not like you just can pierce your forehead like with a diamond. Like, you just can't do that.
Like, if
no, maybe that's why it's so uncentered.
Dies.
Maybe he just like took a knife to his forehead and just cut out a little diamond and then just stuck it in.
Bro, if I'm paying $24 million, that shit better be embedded in my fucking forehead. Ain't no just cuts and sticking in a diamond for me.
I would have done it my chest. I think that would have been way cooler and not like fair.
But then you gotta deal with like your shirt.
Do you think if this man is in the sun, it's gonna like get hot as fuck? Like, do you think that thing will just like burn?
Oh, dude, imagine if he's just like standing outside and then like he like looks at somebody and he like reflects the sun's rays straight at them.
Fucking blinds them. Yeah, imagine.
Dude, you could have it on your chest as like an Iron Man sort of thing, and then just cut holes in every single one of your shirts.
That's hard.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of fucks with the vibe. You guys want to talk about WandaVision episode 4?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I didn't even realize you had started the recording.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I did. We were talking about Uzi. I had to do it.
Oh, that's going to be the cold open. Let's get it.
It is. It is going to be the cold open.
Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dads, listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed and now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
So, WandaVision, episode 4. We interrupt this program is the episode title. I'm going to raw dog this one, guys. Not going to lie to you. No outline. I felt this one doesn't particularly need an outline. It's one that I feel is better to just talk about. So here we are, the WandaVision Watch, Marvel, WandaVision, The Watchmen. It is I, Colton Robertson, here with the Penny Bloom Podcast, and I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
how's it going?
Oh, it is going swell, my friend, swell. And we've got Miles motherfucking Buttress. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good to hear. And on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot, we've got K, Beasley, Kyler Barnett. What's up, homie? Am I the only one who couldn't hear Kyler?
I heard absolutely nothing from Kyler.
Kyler.
Oh my god. Bro. Are you kidding me?
What?
I was like, am I the only one who heard
I
nothing?
said something. Did you see me say something?
I could tell you were saying some shit, and the way that Joseph and Miles reacted, I couldn't tell if you actually said something. Because I was just kind of like...
I said, let's get right to it. And I was like, I'm looking and I'm like...
So they're not really getting right to it.
I'm like, are y'all going to get this shit rolling or what? Like,
bro,
I know we're raw dogging it, but like, damn.
I mean, I've got the calm tono of spice in my system. I got a couple cold ones sitting by. It's ready. It's time to go. Let's talk about WandaVision. So we open with Monica Rambeau being, coming back from the blip. And one thing I noticed straight away is that they hadn't officially decided on how they wanted the people to look when they came back from the blip. I don't know if y'all remember Spider-Man Far From Home. This is not what that looked like in that movie. And
no,
that just stuck out to me immediately.
It is interesting. That is a very interesting open to the episode. Like, who'd have thought we would have been?
Yeah, and I really liked how, I kind of maybe jumping the gun, but I liked how unsettling this whole sequence was in the hospital. It just had this really, like, eerie, like, kind of like you just sat there kind of like tensed up the whole time, like, oh my gosh, like it's so uncomfortable to sit through. And I think it was so cool to see this side of the snapback, I guess. That's so dumb to call it that. But the blip.
The return of the blip.
It's so weird to see this side of it, but I thought it was really good. It gave it a like totally different feel than Spider-Man Far From Home, because it was almost a joke in that film, given it was with the campy student news and stuff, you know? So I felt like seeing like a super like kind of chilling sequence and like this concept of like, I was just here with my mom. Where is she? Like that fear. Like we only got that for a split second in Endgame.
A lot more context.
Right. And we only really got that for a split second in Endgame with Ant-Man, but that was just for a small second, and that gets lost in Endgame. But in this show, that feels so much more significant.
Yo, like, and I like the way they put it. Like, it just felt like she took a nap. Like she must have fallen asleep. Like that has to be the explanation, because I was just here. We were doing just fine. And everyone else was like, yo, you've been gone for 5 fucking years, bro. What the fuck you talking about?
I just realized what it really, like, I guess how I couldn't have noticed it felt like this, but when Captain America comes back, when he runs into Times Square.
Yeah.
I guess that's...
I'm not going to lie, the entire opening sequence of this, I was so fucking confused because I did not connect the dots at first of being like, oh, she just came back from the blip. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this like her returning from the alternate universe that Wanda's created at first? And I was like, what is happening? And then they're like, what are you talking about? You have been gone for 5 years. And I was like, fuck, that's right. The blip. That makes a lot more sense.
That did happen. Half the population of the universe was just kind of,
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I must have I don't know what the fuck. I was muted for a second, I guess.
Sometimes you like freeze out and we can't hear you for like a second or two.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I liked this a lot because I loved the sheer chaos going on in this hospital. And it was something I hadn't considered. Yo, imagine all the people who were blipped away in hospitals. And then when they came back, they were still in that hospital.
Yeah, so that's like
in the same spot.
That's like top 5 worst places to come back in like a blip.
If you were in a coma before the blip and you got blipped, would you come back in a coma or just fine?
Yes, I feel like you would.
With this
also,
coma.
If you are like in a hospital bed, okay, you blip out. You blip back. Someone else is in that hospital bed. Are you just like blipping back, cuddling with someone?
This is what I am talking about. Get this. I feel like this one. No, hear me out here. An airplane. Imagine getting blipped out of that.
Oh fuck!
Like there's no way. I mean, if that's a full flight, bro, you're talking about double the capacity. That's fucked up. You're going down. Yeah, that plane.
Down for real. Sorry,
see, but no, that raises the question, though. Do you blip back wherever that airplane is now at, or do you just blip back 20,000 feet in the air? Or 10,000 feet in the air? Just
in the
air, and you're just like...
You would absolutely just blip back 20,000 feet in the air. I want to know how many people died that way.
Just fucking splattered on blip day?
It's raining men.
Yo. New Marvel show idea, just a cheesy, awful show called 1,000 Ways to Die, but Blip Edition, and that's just what it is. You just get to find all the craziest ways. Like that's just what I mean.
I mean, what even would be the craziest way?
Follow Monica Rambeau a little bit through this. I'm about to freeze out.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
We good?
I think the craziest way to die would be falling into a wood chipper that wasn't there 5 years ago but is now.
Fuck, that'd be pretty goddamn crazy.
That's some Zombieland stuff right there. I like that.
Sorry, I just had to slip that one in there.
Where like you blip while you're crossing the street and you just like reappear right in front of a semi as it's coming through.
Bro, we could apply the same fucking plane logic to trains. Imagine you just plot right back on these tracks and it's wraps for you, homie.
See, 99% of the time though, you'd be fine because there wouldn't be a train going through where you blipped out at. So you just like you'd fall a couple feet onto the track and then just walk off. If there was though, I'm sorry.
Space station. An astronaut blipped in the space station. He's just in the middle of space, suffocating and dying.
Yo, that's another one right there. And you got to think, it was like all over the universe. It was every planet ever with life.
Man, the interplanetary freaking dude.
Do you
the
know
deaths on different planets would be so much wilder.
Now, here's the thing: is that like I don't think the MCU movies give you quite like it's crazy how big the scale is, and it's still like you don't quite get it. Like there is so much out there, and he just snapped away literally half of all of it.
Fuck, thought of another good one: the trash planet from Ragnarok. Okay. You blip out, you're going through some trash. You blip back in, right as a fucking just trash spaceship just lands right on top of you.
Perfect. You're done. You're wraps. What if someone was in the fighting ring?
Blips back in the middle of another fight?
Exactly. Just gets his shit rocked.
Do you win the fight if your opponent gets blipped out?
No, I bet they just killed that guy too.
They said, nah, you don't deserve to live. Get out of here. You cheated. I don't know what you did, but you did something.
And it killed half of all the people in this arena. But I like the way we follow Monica a little bit here. She works for this agency called SWORD. At least she did before she was taken by the blip. And we learned that her mom, Maria Rambeau, best friend to Captain Marvel, founded SWORD, this branch of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I liked seeing that Monica is like very, very important. Like she is.
Yeah, you get the like sense like the legacy vibe. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but like you really get the sense that like she came in like huge shoes to fill, and as I had obviously been doing a great job prior. You know what I mean? Like.
And I liked the interaction she had with the guy they appointed director of SWORD, where he was like, "I'm sorry you weren't here to make this decision." And she was like, "You were the obvious choice," and he was like, "Well, actually, I was the only choice." And I'm assuming he was the only choice because
the other candidates got blipped.
Got blipped. Exactly.
Probably she was probably the main candidate since her mom was the former one.
Okay, have you guys seen the other acronyms for SWORD than the one that we got? We got the sentient weapon sort of sword, but apparently there's a completely different one.
Sentient world.
Yeah, like
what is the acronym?
In WandaVision, it's sentient weapon.
Observation, research, development.
The ending is the same for both of them, but the only difference is there's a sentient weapon and like other. You replace weapon with world, basically. But like, and then in that scene, like she says, like a thing about creating sentient weapons. Like, apparently it's not just observing and whatever. It's like they're creating them. Like there's a scene where she's walking through the headquarters and like they're creating sentient weapons.
This could make sense because of her ties to the Tesseract. I mean, I feel like in our MCU that makes a little sense.
Well, here's the thing too, is that like obviously American government agencies don't operate in the most honest and peel back the curtain way.
No.
So maybe there's a chance that America's government post Thanos is doing a little bit of what Strucker was doing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what a sentient weapon is a human.
That
they like we want to be the first ones to try to get it right. You know,
it's like a nuclear race.
Yeah.
Potentially, that's what we're looking at. With
the only notes I had about SWORD in this was just that I thought that building was just like cool as hell. I just would really like to just like take a day, just give it a good little walkthrough.
What are all?
Imagine like take your kid to work day.
Oh,
That'd
man.
be so fun.
Yeah, like I feel like you'd have to kill your child though after the end of the day. Like you've seen too much.
Seen too much, kid. Fuck
There
them
was
kids.
a lot of hexagon references in the
What
show.
if he goes to school the next day and his little friend Timmy's a Skrull? Boom! You just gave the secret to the free world to the Skrull. Boom! Death to all.
But Joe, you were mentioning the hexagon.
Yeah, like in the
Apparently,
intro, like there are hexagons everywhere in the show.
well, Jimmy Woo writes something on the whiteboard that the shape of the reality she's created is hexagonal.
And then it says like why hexagon, like why hexagonal. But there's hexagons in the intro, in the outro of the sitcom, and then in an office of Sword, there's diplomas put up in a hexagonal shape, and like people think that this is important.
Is that the shape of an infinity stone?
This is true. It's the shape of Vision's Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone. It is the shape of a hexagon. And people think that hexagons are super important because what if Wanda was inside of this office at one time and like it's just her subconscious putting hexagons into her own reality and stuff like that? Like maybe
like
her
trail,
reality,
like he's leaving this behind on accident.
Or not necessarily that, but like with your dreams, you have random people that you walked across, like in the street. You saw a random person, you won't even think about them again, but they'll show up in a dream because you saw them.
Yeah.
And like people are drawing the line between Wanda's, reality is really her dream. And like maybe if she was at Sword, maybe they were wanting her to be one of their weapons or something. She wasn't happy with it. I don't know. I really don't know.
I get the impression that Sword had absolutely nothing to do with Wanda before this.
Mm-hmm.
I get the impression that, like here in a second when Monica is assigned to, earthly projects, she's not allowed to go off planet, apparently. Like, I think that was the impression I got there. And she was like, oh, fuck, I got to deal with stuff that's on planet. That's so boring. And then she gets stuck with Wanda Maximoff, so that's something. But, she walks up to that barrier after walking past Jimmy Woo, who's figured out the card tricks. Best
that's what I was.
Best character arc in all of Marvel.
Oh, it's up there. It's up there, no doubt. He figured that shit out. And,
also, I just have a quick question. She said like, "Oh, you're stuck on earthly projects." What kind of off-world projects were they doing like 5 years, like before Infinity War? Because I feel like even S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't doing a whole lot of off-world shit before that.
No, they weren't. We've been dealing with aliens since 2012 in their world, with Avengers. So like maybe that's what Sword was on. Like Sword was assigned to
and maybe whenever he says you're off-world stuff. Mm-hmm.
Well, he said something about like on the ground. Like
maybe he just means like the stuff that she's working on is only on Earth and she's not working with some like alien species that they heard of type thing.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right,
well,
that makes
earthly projects could be pretty cool given that an earthly project for that agency could have been Thor's hammer back in the day. So, I mean, like, that would be pretty dope as well.
How boring can your job be if you're doing stuff for Sword?
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel like your worst day is going to be pretty damned cool.
I'd imagine your worst day at Sword is deadly. But
not
bad day. Not bad day is probably pretty good.
Okay. The sitcom that Wanda has created, it's like jumping decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, it's WandaVision in color, or whatever. Do you think going from black and white to color is like a significant like thing that happened in the show, or do you think it's just because of the decade jump? Like,
I think it's just because of the decade jump. I think at first it was like made to seem like it was a significant thing, and then in this episode they're like, no, it's just kind of jumping decades every single episode.
But Vision, when he died, was black and white, monochrome, no color. But now, I don't know.
Didn't he go monochrome whenever he died in Infinity War?
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, though. But I think that's just it was showing that he was like dead and not. I don't think he went monochrome because it was like, oh, the color left him. I think it was just him going monochrome just because it's showing his dead body.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true.
Here, let's just go. Since we don't have an outline here, let's just go ahead and talk about that real quick. So, when we see Wanda yeet Geraldine through 4 walls, might I add, breaking the 4th wall, what she turns around and sees Vision's destroyed skull and black and white body. Do we think that she has fabricated this Vision completely in terms of like creating a reality, or has she taken the lifeless black and white body of Vision and altered it to be what she wishes it to be?
It's scary to think about.
I really think she's just puppeteering him. I think that's way too funny of an option for it not to be true that she's just going puppet master with Vision.
Man, that is dark. That is dark.
On the lighter side, I think Vision is Wanda's, what do you call it? Conscience? Not really. Like, your good conscience. Vision is always like, okay, there was the scene right after.
The angel sitting on her shoulder?
Yeah, that's a really good take.
Because there's a quote, right after Vision, turns back into color. He says, "We don't have to stay here. We can go wherever we want." And then Wanda, very angrily and kind of serious, says, "No, we can't. This is our home." And Vision is like taken back at this. His face is like, what is she saying? She sounds crazy. And then he smiles, really.
I don't think Vision's face was like taken aback. I think it was just like he took this in stride, like Wanda, like, and because he took it in stride, in my opinion, it definitely means Wanda's like in some way in his head for sure.
I don't know because his face was off. Vision's face was off, and then Wanda said, "Hey, let's watch a movie," and then he just went back into a smiley, Wanda controlled form.
Fair,
I don't know.
Fair.
I just think.
Well, that's the thing then, is that there have been these moments. There have been these moments where Vision shows a semblance of sentience, where he like sat Wanda down and was like, "I don't think things are right here." Like outside with Herb, the dinner, and he starts listening to things, and then it blips, and he's right back to the beginning, and he starts being a loving husband.
Yeah.
So I like the theory more that this is Wanda's conscience.
That she's like puppeteering him.
Not necessarily even. I at this point, if that's the theory I'm going with, Vision isn't even like there.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say that she's like puppeteering him, and that every once in a while, like her actual like conscience come through, and it's like, this is how Vision would actually act in this scenario.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
I think it's more like that. Like she's kind of and that's where this line kind of blurs. Has she created something that is like physically there? Or is she like fabricating it with her mind,
And so Vision turning monochrome and all of these things coming at her, reminding her of her past. Maybe it's a way to tell Wanda, like break out of it. You're kind of going crazy with this thing. Like they're trying to remind her of her traumatized past to be like, okay, everything can't be perfect. Everything is perfect in my reality, but obviously it can't be. I don't know. What's
interesting? I'm just kind of thinking here off the top. In the black and white episodes, when something's a glitch in the system, it appears in color.
Mm-hmm.
And the fully color episodes, the only thing that would appear black and white is Vision. Is that like he's kind of is a semblance of a glitch in the system there too, potentially, just like through like a subtlety in their writing,
Man.
I mean, technically Vision was basically a robot, and I don't know if it's possible, but maybe his conscience could be, contained in some way. I don't know how. Maybe Wanda has this power.
Well, he was fabricated to be Ultron-esque.
Yeah.
You know? But Ultron even recognized this vessel as better.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to go with the show, and we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen.
So I have an ever important question. I already asked Colton about this, and he said that I had to ask it on the podcast. If she's puppeteering him, the episode where they have sex, would that be considered masturbation?
No, come on, man.
I mean, yes.
That's so hard to think about. You know what? And it sucks because I just watched a super wholesome video of her on First We Feast, just telling me what is in her fridge. And now I have to imagine her imagining Vision fucking, and then it's actually her touch. Dude, come on, man. Can anything be sacred?
No. That literally, me and Colton were talking about this, about like if she was puppeteering him, and like I had a couple thoughts, and then like the like fourth or fifth thing that came to my mind was they had sex. That's weird.
If you could only, if all of you listeners could only see the look I'm giving this man Miles right now.
Well, here's the thing too. Here's what's important is that this is this sitcom reality. So they did technically allude to the idea of them having sex, but they never actually fucked.
Well, I mean, they had a child, so.
But that's a child after a one-day pregnancy, Miles. I don't think science is exactly important.
All right. No, listen.
I think
you only get to listen to the logic that supports his theory, not
exactly.
It.
I think everything in this show is pointing towards Wanda going full crazy and she becoming. This is the part that I'm uncertain about, but this is my theory as of yet. I think she is the villain, in air quotes, villain of Phase 4, and she's in Doctor Strange. She's probably in Spider-Man. We don't know that for sure, but she's probably in Spider-Man.
She has been rumored to be appearing.
Mm-hmm. The Doctor Strange movie is called Multiverse of Madness, and that's an acronym for MOM, and she can literally...
I liked that one because, and here's a particular reason I liked that one, because Multiverse of Madness is extraordinarily clunky. Like that is not a great name for a movie.
Oh no, it's 100% gonna be like remembered. Like when people talk about it, it will be abbreviated as like MOM or whatever.
See,
like that's
I completely disagree. I love Multiverse of Madness.
Don't get me wrong.
It's just
I
long
like
enough
the
and
name.
just stupid
I just
enough
think
that I love it.
Clunky compared to like some of the other titles that have previously rolled off. Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. Like these sorts of things are easy, and then you got Multiverse of Madness, a 6-syllable title. That's a lot.
Yeah, see, that's why I love it.
And what better person to counteract Wanda's multiverse stuff than Doctor Strange? He is the perfect person to counteract Wanda, but he can't really kill Wanda because Wanda could just kind of kill Doctor Strange pretty easily, in my mind at least. But like, I really think
not if he Dormammu, I've come to bargain, sir.
I really think
if there isn't a scene similar to that, I'm going to be disappointed.
Ideally, this man should just be undefeated. He should never lose.
He should never lose. He could just.
He should have just done that to Thanos. I don't know why he didn't do that.
Well, because that wasn't the way that worked out.
Yeah.
That was the one way out of the 14
This is why
million.
you can't be that person, Miles. You can't be that guy when it's that simple. He only saw one reality, so he had to let it happen.
I think he just wanted Stark dead.
Wow.
Okay,
He wanted to be the leader of the Avengers.
I want to see where you guys stand on this. Do you think Wanda brings in the 3 Spider-Men, or do you think Doctor Strange brings in the 3 Spider-Men to help with Wanda?
Yo, I don't think either of those is the option, but I like the idea of both. I think that if anything there, Wanda's probably what accidentally makes that happen.
I didn't mean purposely want. Yeah, that's true. Ooh, dude.
See, I don't think they're going to turn her into a villain.
I think it's perfect.
I was making this point to Joseph off mic. I think the one thing so far that the MCU is lacking, and something that could take it from a good storytelling, great storytelling platform to just like different levels potentially, is the story of Wanda Maximoff. If they were to make her break bad, if she were to fall to the dark side as a like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader type figure, Magneto type figure in the MCU, like she took this role as the fallen angel, and then maybe one day she could get a redemption. But like as of now, she relishes in this evil for a little bit, you know, like in the House of M comic book storyline, her children are fabricated. She's told they're fake. She absolutely loses it and destroys shit. Wanda Maximoff in the MCU has already had an absolutely terrible fucking life. Just devastating through and through.
It's not out of the cards to assume that one could lose their sanity in an environment like that. Yeah.
She's got more reason to fall to the dark side than Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
but the dreams, Colton.
Do you know what would make
I just worry.
Go ahead. Kyler, are you saying, do you have something?
Oh, yeah, I just worry that would be, I like it, but I just worry that given Dark Phoenix just came out and probably the similarity in that kind of story, like, you know what I'm saying, and how that movie was perceived, I worried they'd shy away from it. I don't know. Marvel's so good, though.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Marvel is so good. So if you feel like you can do it, I'm not sure that, like, worrying about if it's, like, played out right now is even in their, like, I think they can handle it. But I'm just saying, my opinion there
is that Disney is just so damn petty that, like, I'd be willing to bet Marvel creators for Disney are willing to create a version of that story just better.
Yeah,
just to be like stuck, just to suck it to Fox, just to be like, hey, yeah, how you like that?
A bigger reason to fall to
Fox before they take over.
Like, a bigger reason to fall to the dark side than Wanda losing her reality in which everything is perfect for her. She perceives everything as going perfect, and then she gets one glimpse of that leaving. I think she'd kill anyone in her path. I don't think there's any question about that.
See, I think it makes sense for her to go a little insane in this show. I just don't think it makes a ton of sense for her to be like the fallen angel, like that type of villain, just because of the fact that, like, we've already seen her, like, she was a villain for like half a movie before, because she was raised to like funnel all of this hatred into destroying the Avengers, and then realized she was like, fuck, funneling all this hatred kind of sucks. I should do things to help people. And I think this TV show is where she's going to go kind of insane because of all her loss. But then I don't think once this gets resolved, I don't think she's going to still be evil, just because of the fact that she knows, like, she's seen what evil people, like what bad people, quote unquote, can do to harm other people. I don't think she wants to do that to other people.
And I'm with that for sure. And I think that's probably more likely. But I do not dismiss the fact that Wanda has seen that being a hero has not worked out for her.
Yep.
That's fair.
Think about her, and like who she fought with in Civil War and stuff, and the context of that movie too. She probably doesn't really give a fuck about what people think.
I mean, there's also a theory that Wanda isn't the one controlling her reality, and it's someone that put her there, and whenever she rewinds or throws anyone out of her reality, she completely forgets about it, because that would be a thing that isn't perfect in her life. So she would want to forget about it. And I don't know. It'd be really cool to see someone controlling Wanda, or she wished for this to happen, so someone made it happen. And she becomes a misunderstood villain where she doesn't know what she's doing. She just knows that her life is really good right now, and people are going to start fighting her because it's not good for humanity, I guess. Because she could go all crazy and kill everybody.
Well, one thing that we did learn in this episode is that Wanda has taken actual citizens of Westview, has made them part of this reality, and has also erased them from existence. in normal reality. Like, their families don't remember them. Nobody realizes that Westview exists. Like, Wanda has done something that is fucking with shit big time.
Yeah, so I just feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense for her as a character to just go through and just pick people out and erase them from existence, and the recording's frozen. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Erase them from existence and just be like, all right, you're mine now, and I'm going to make everyone in the world forget about you. Just because that, even like, as much as she might hate losing Vision and hate everything that's happened to her, I don't think she wants to cause other people that pain, in a sense. Whether or not they know it, whether they know it or not, she's still causing them. She's still removing someone from their lives, and so I feel like I most believe the theory that someone else has used her powers to put her there, and then is doing this to her for whatever reason.
I'm with that, because there is one thing from Endgame that I feel a lot of people have been omitting in their theories of this, is that at Tony's funeral, Wanda is extremely at peace with Vision's death.
This is true. And
she is cool.
Another thing about the funeral is, like, people are grouped with who they're grouped with. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're grouped together. People like that, they're grouped together. But Wanda was with Falcon, and who else was it? Bucky, maybe? I don't know. But it's a very weird, like, she's kind of alone. Like, she doesn't really have anyone that was her, friend, I guess, in that sense.
I know she was talking to Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye when she said that quote, because he was remembering Black Widow and she was remembering Vision.
That's true.
I'm going to look up her exact quote right here on the air.
Okay. Do you think that during Endgame, the scene where, like, if you go back in time and take a stone out, it creates a different timeline? And, like, you have to fix it in order for time to, like, still be constant or whatever? Do you think this is coming into play now because Wanda is taking people out of their existence, putting them into her own, and, like, maybe this is the way of showing us what the repercussions are or the consequences are of not, like, having the timeline go, how it's supposed to? I don't know. Maybe this is how the multiverse is created, because I don't know. Because that scene where the Hulk, was learning all about this, like, that felt kind of serious, like, if you mess it up, it's not going to be good.
I think with those, it was so serious because what she was kind of saying was, like, if you take a stone out of a timeline and keep it, that will fuck that timeline for the rest of its timeline until it eventually, like, collapses or something like that, because the stones, balance the universe or whatever. And even though technically, I think in this universe, the timelines are destroyed, but I think they're still, like, there. They're just not material anymore.
I don't know. Did she mention that only the stones were the things that could be taken out and it would mess up everything? Because, like, she's taking out a whole town.
She was saying, that's why. Yeah, well, yeah, but a town's a town. Like, it's people. An Infinity Stone is an Infinity Stone. And I think that's what she was, like, specifically, like, harping on, where she was like, if you take one of these Infinity Stones and don't bring it back, you are fucking our timeline.
Or do you think
because we don't have that Infinity Stone anymore to balance?
Yeah, but the people aren't there anymore in that timeline.
Yes, but
those are gone.
But people are people, and in terms of a galactic or in a universal scale, kind of fucking useless unless you're one of, like, 10 people.
You ever heard of the butterfly effect? It's the same thing.
Well, yeah, but
it's a big, big, big butterfly effect. But taking out a town is a small one, but it gradually goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And maybe this is why Doctor Strange
but also
fix everything. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with that. And if I'm right, suck it.
Is there a possibility? I'm gonna go with Joe's theory here, and I'm gonna build upon it. Okay, is there a possibility that Wanda, the end of this show, is not the destruction of her reality, but she expands it into a much larger, much larger,
like a rage. I don't want to say rage induced, but could be like a moment where her powers, like, go too much, like she loses it for a second and then bow. That's the effect.
Like
It
she
goes
takes
from
over.
town
She
to
takes
whatever.
over the better part of the United States or something. Like if
Yeah, and so I gotta Miles. So, were you saying it's like somebody is controlling her and manipulating her in this reality?
I don't think they're controlling her. I think they're manipulating the reality to like for their own benefit for whatever reason.
So, like, are they trying to harm her or protect her or protect people from her?
No, I think it's more like they're trying to harm her, or use her for whatever, for whatever purpose that they.
Okay, that's where I was confused, and I think that's probably why you thought what I said was really weird, because I had thought that you were saying it was someone like trying to keep her away from people because they felt she was too dangerous. So that's why I said leaning into that theory, if it's going to go that way, and I thought that was okay for a second. If that's the case, I also felt like, given that she said the whole Luke Skywalker level cameo, I said, wouldn't that make sense if someone's trying to look out for Wanda and protect people from her, somebody who's seen it up close, and then is also on a Luke level cameo?
Can we talk about
Captain America, given his arc in Endgame? That's where I was.
Let's do this real quick. Okay, so Elizabeth Olsen in an interview says that WandaVision will impress with a Luke Skywalker level cameo from The Mandalorian. First off, I want to go straight up on the record say that's not possible.
Yeah,
it's not possible. It's not happening.
There is no one in the Marvel universe that I want to see in this as much as I wanted to see Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian.
It's a relative cameo, like relative to the Marvel universe, sort of.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. But like, I'm saying there isn't a relative equivalent.
I feel like she's really hyped it up, and like it's gonna make I feel like now the standards are so high. Yeah.
Unless the end of the season is Thanos snaps himself into existence, hands her the Mind Stone, she revives Vision, and then Thanos snaps himself back out of existence. I don't care. Like, I don't care about your cameo.
I think you guys are like missing the point of the cameo. We like Star Wars so much that we don't think a Luke level cameo exists. But like, there are people that like Marvel as much as we like Star Wars. So there is a cameo that exists relative to Marvel. Yes, it is.
No one likes. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Hold on a second. I get where you're coming from, Joseph, but I want to tell you that in the MCU context, compared to Star Wars, the greatest equivalent you have is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark's just not showing up. That's not possible. It's like, if we're talking strictly from these movies, that's the equivalent. Is it has to be because it started with Tony Stark, it ended with Tony Stark, the way Star Wars started with Luke Skywalker, and the original trilogy ended with Luke Skywalker. You feel me? Like that's gotta be.
That's where I think the confusion comes from. When she says it's this Luke Skywalker level cameo, does she mean in terms of what he meant, like narratively, like in terms of his history in Star Wars? Like, is that because that would be Tony Stark, like you said, hands down. But if she's just meaning in terms of hype around it, like when people were hyping it up as Luke, think about all the buzz that came around it. Like, think about how hyped up and how much of a moment that was, like on Twitter and stuff. You know what I mean?
But even if it's a hyping up thing, I also don't think a Marvel character exists that would bring that much hype to the TV show as exists for Luke and the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I just figured out who it is.
Who is it?
Keanu Reeves' Moon Knight.
I think we've kind of gotten confirmation that Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight.
Yep, nope, that was all smoke and mirrors. Keanu Reeves.
Christian Bale.
Fine. Whatever character you want to play, it's Keanu Reeves.
Isn't Christian Bale?
It's actually going to be Christian Bale as Batman.
No, I thought he was
Christian Bale's going to be in Thor.
Okay.
Christian Bale's going to be Thor: Love and Thunder. He's going to be the villain in that. But I want to get back to who the Luke Skywalker level cameo could be. So if we're going to lay out some options here, we've got Captain America on the table. I don't know how that would tie in, but maybe they could write a way in.
Which fair, because we also wouldn't have known how a Luke Skywalker would have fit in at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely, that's fair. See, and then if you got, it's not Tony Stark. We know that.
Doctor Strange?
And Tony's dead. And it's not Doctor Strange because that is nowhere near that level of a cameo. People almost expect Doctor Strange to be in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I've seen a lot of Evan Peters Quicksilver.
That is my leading theory.
Here's my thing. I absolutely think we get Evan Peters Quicksilver. But I do not think that's the cameo she's talking about.
I agree because I don't feel like it's the Luke Skywalker thing throws us for such a bone. There's no way it doesn't. It throws such a wrench into the argument because really every time you feel like you're coming to a close, like, I can ride with this like person as the cameo, and then you're like, no, it's not Luke. Like you can't.
It's not good.
Luke Skywalker was the main character in all of Star Wars. He is the main character. You know, like that's the guy. It's like it's him, and then like if you're born after a certain time, Anakin.
And especially when we didn't think. And especially when you think about we thought he was done. We didn't think we were going to get any other Star Wars content with Luke Skywalker. So like,
is there any other big bad that is badder than Thanos in the comics? Because Elizabeth Olsen is a big comics person.
I don't know, like Death,
Galactus, but I can't. They're not going to blow their. I hate to use the term again. They're not going to blow their load on
Galactus in a TV show.
Fast, they've just wrapped up the biggest big bad we've ever seen.
They put Galactus in Fortnite. They can put it in anything, bro.
They did roll him out in Fortnite. They did roll Galactus out in Fortnite, so maybe that brought him a little bit of relevance, but I just don't think it brought him Luke Skywalker level relevance.
No.
I think if we're getting there, I saw a theory online that this quote Luke Skywalker level cameo could actually be Mark Hamill playing the role as Mephisto, the devil type character in Marvel Comics. Who has the capability of warping reality.
And
that would be the biggest fuck you from Elizabeth Olsen to say like, oh, it's a Luke Skywalker level cameo.
And it hid right under our noses. Dude, he would kill, because when I've seen this character, I've seen him come up on Twitter a lot and just on social media lately, just with the buzz kind of about him. He's kind of came up and I've seen pictures and like what he looked like in the comics. Tell me the look of him doesn't look like he is Mark Hamill voice character killing it. Just killing it.
Perfect, bro. Like I'm thinking about Mark Hamill playing a devil type character with his Joker type voice from the Batman stuff, and it's raps, bro.
He's going to murder it.
It's perfect.
Murder it.
I hope that's the case.
Oh my God. That is so thin seeming, but I love it so much. Like I want that so bad.
My prevailing theory as to who this cameo could be. It's like obvious to a lot of people. Like it's probably I gotta go Magneto. And I've talked about the way they can retcon this a little bit in our group chat with Magneto's mom gave Wanda and Pietro away at birth. Or not Magneto's mom. Wanda's mom gave Wanda and Pietro away at birth to a couple because she was afraid of Magneto, potentially didn't want him to know they exist. Something like that.
So, and then they end up in the band. Yeah, I was really keen on Magneto from the get-go, and then I kind of started thinking more towards the Quicksilver route, and I couldn't figure out which way I was leaning. So,
Magneto brings that gravitas to the cameo.
Yeah, I just hope it happens this next episode is what I hope. And I know
I've read online that I don't want to be like a spoiler here or anything, but I've read online that this episode is where we'll be getting a big new reveal. Like a new character, big deal.
Okay.
What Stan Lee? But they filmed something. I know, but I know. I'm sorry to throw that in there just all of a sudden, but that is kind of the Luke level of Marvel.
It's fair. But
it
would be boozy as fuck of her to hype it up like that for it to be a CGI'd Stan Lee.
What if they just filmed a crap ton of cameos for Stan Lee? I mean, they probably had this show in the works for a while.
Okay,
I don't think that wild.
Here,
That one's wild.
can I present one last theory, and it is no level. Okay, well, I should wait. I'll save it, I guess. I'm sorry.
I want to throw out a wild.
You'll save your load.
Yeah, I'll save my load. I won't blow it.
I want to throw out a wild card, just so if I'm right, I'm gonna say I told you so. I'm just gonna throw Red Skull out there. Maybe the Soul Stone comes into play in this show. I don't know, but I want to just say Red Skull or ScarJo or old Gamora. That's anyone dealing with the Soul Stone. That's my wild card guess.
See, that's cool with me. I dig the theory. I just don't think they'll dip back into that bag. I think now that Gamora, ScarJo are dead, they're not going back to Red Skull. We're not dealing with the Soul Stone anymore. I just don't think we're doing that.
Do we know
again.
how the Soul Stone works? Like, do we know how it works? Like, can you bring anyone back to life with the Soul Stone? Like,
I don't know, but I just cannot for the life of me imagine that WandaVision's whole purpose is to bring back Gamora or Black Widow. Like,
no.
Yeah, that's.
But if the Soul Stone is able to bring people back to life, maybe Wanda brings back Vision without the Mind Stone, sort of thing. She brings back the human eyes part of Vision. That's just a wild card. I do not believe in it at all. I'm just saying I want to throw it out there to maybe be right.
I have another person that it could be. I'm going to throw out Captain Marvel because she was best friends with Maria Rambeau. Her daughter's Monica Rambeau. Monica's probably got a line to Captain Marvel, I'd imagine, just because of that. And potentially, if they need to stop Wanda in dire circumstances, we get a Captain Marvel versus Scarlet Witch fight.
Yeah,
which could be epic.
Dude,
it'd be a cool fight. I don't think that would fit the billing of a Luke level cameo, just because of the fact that Captain Marvel is not exactly the most well liked superhero in the Marvel universe.
True, but maybe the most useful in this scenario. What if she uses her powers to literally punch through Wanda's reality, and that's what breaks it all down?
That'd be dope.
We don't know how anything works.
I do think that, I think no matter what, Elizabeth Olsen was exaggerating with Luke Skywalker level cameo. So anybody who's relatively a big deal in Marvel is fair game, in my opinion.
See,
so,
I actually
Captain Marvel at the moment is a big deal.
Yeah, I really think having brought it up, I think if it was a Mark Hamill as whatever the character's name is, Mephisto. What's his name? Yeah, Mephisto. Yeah. I think that would, and she was just kind of being very on the nose about it, of being like, oh, it's a Luke level cameo because it's literally Luke.
I would love that.
I think, would love to have
number one option.
Yeah, also would love to have Mark Hamill in the Marvel universe at all, and also as Mephisto.
Can you, dude? I just now that it's even
a possibility.
I've even said it. I need Mark Hamill in the MCU in some capacity. I don't care how. Just I want him in it.
Also, would fit my theory of the fact that it's someone else doing this to her, because it would be Mephisto literally. Yes, literally messing with the reality in order to do whatever to her for whatever reason that he has, since he's, literally the devil.
That's why I brought it up. I recently read a comic book series that came out in the Marvel line, Avengers Age of Khonshu, which is a Moon Knight centered piece, but it's based around Mephisto as the villain. And Mephisto faces off with the moon god Khonshu, and one of his powers is that he has the ability to kind of change these realities and shit like that. And was that the Age of Khonshu? Whatever. I know he faces off with Mephisto at some point. I don't remember exactly what comic series it was. For some reason I want to say Age of Khonshu, but nobody hold me to that. And he has that capability of fucking with reality however he kind of pleases, because he is the Marvel's equivalent to the devil. He is.
Issue with that though, if Mark Hamill plays him, are we just completely retconning the every single Ghost Rider movie? Or is Nick Cage coming back as Ghost Rider?
Yes, Nick Cage Mephisto.
Maybe that is the Luke level cameo. Maybe Nicolas Cage comes back as Ghost Rider in this movie with Mephisto.
Oh,
God, wouldn't you just fucking vomit?
Hey,
I love it.
He's a fantastic actor.
You can hate it as much as you want. I might die of happiness if if Nicolas Cage came back as Ghost Rider in this TV show.
I mean, there have been a lot of.
Don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love Ghost Rider to come back in the MCU in some capacity. I need that because it's gonna be badass. I mean, he made his appearances in like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and shit, but it's like if they brought him back cinematically, they have the opportunity to do something really fucking cool, you know?
And who better to be Nicolas Cage?
I feel like if they bring back Ghost Rider, it has to be Nicolas Cage. There is no other actor I want to see as Ghost Rider besides Nicolas Cage.
I would accept Liam Neeson.
I would accept that as well. But okay, Nicolas Cage followed in a close second by Liam Neeson, and then no one else in third.
Yeah, the real question is who is Ewan McGregor gonna play in the MCU? That's the real question.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
We're connecting Star Wars and the MCU with Ewan McGregor.
The multiverse
is
could
kind
literally
of off
be
topic. But you know who I would love to see? You know who I would love to see play Ghost Rider in the MCU?
Nicolas Cage.
Diego Luna, the guy who played Cassian Andor in Rogue One.
Okay.
I can fuck with that heavy.
He's number 3. Sorry, he's behind Nicolas Cage and Liam Neeson. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, okay. Back to the show, though. There have been a lot of devilish, like, I don't know. Hints. References, yes. Like on the toaster, there was 999, obviously upside down, that's 666. And then in the Loki trailer, there was a devil stained glass window. Literally, the devil was just right there. Like, I think Mephisto, is that his name? I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Mephisto. I think Mephisto's coming in the show, guaranteed. Or
well, here's the thing: given the Loki piece of evidence here, is there the potentiality that if Mephisto is to come into this, that he is the Thanos type villain for this little part, like the big bad, and they're laying the seeds early, like they did with Thanos early on.
Also it makes sense because he fits into being the big bad for this series. He fits into being the potential big bad in a multiverse of madness. He fits into them trying to, pull in multiple Spider-Men to try and, or him accidentally pulling multiple Spider-Men into one universe.
Yep.
So maybe he does become the Thanos level big bad for this stage.
It's either he's coming in and they're hinting at it very, very slightly or heavily, depending on how you look at it. Or it's just they're giving a nod to like the super fan MCU people. Like, it's just like, about this guy. We're doing WandaVision. It's easy to point him out. But like, it's just like a nod to being like a super fan, basically. Because no one else would take it as anything. It's just like, oh, there's the devil. Okay.
Like, Mephisto, yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that Mephisto is actually an option that like bodes well for a potentiality in a multiverse of madness type situation, because they did say they're going to take a little bit more of a horror approach to that film.
And nothing screams horror more than the devil.
It's true. And obviously that could just be Wanda. Wanda can be pretty scary.
I want Wanda to
Okay, so here was my theory when I'll touch on now with that. If I think we're going with the Wanda Breaking Bad type thing, which I'm with Colton, I kind of like that. I think that could be, I think that's an earned arc for her. I think she has every reason to be as crazy and horrific as she chooses to be. I feel like if we're going that direction, I could see something like she carrying over into Multiverse of Madness and being like not the main villain necessarily of that movie. That could still be Mephisto. Maybe it's Wanda is bad. She's gone crazy. She's on the dark side of things. Maybe she is working sort of as a minion for Mephisto, and that arc all starts here. Or just in general, she breaks bad in the show and then is the partial villain for Multiverse of Madness, and then Doctor Strange eventually convinces her back or fixes things with her, and then they fight together at the end and defeat the big bad of that movie. That's my theory. I don't know.
Does anyone remember the name of the other wizard at Doctor Strange's Academy, the black guy?
I can't remember his name, but I know he is supposed to turn into a bad guy.
I just was talking about this with somebody.
Well, here's the thing, is because I read the very first issue of the Doctor Strange comic that's available on Marvel Unlimited, right?
Baron Mordo.
Yes, Mordo.
Mordo. He's a fallen wizard in the very first issue available of Doctor Strange.
Well, we saw him turn bad in the end credit scene of Doctor Strange too, as well.
Exactly. He
pulled
the
powers out of Jonathan Pangborn's back. That's pretty.
Is there a possibility that maybe I don't want to say that he's obviously the guy here. Obviously, he's not. That'd be fucking disappointing. But what if he ties in somehow? What if in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness if we're getting this Mephisto type storyline, he does have a pretty solid team of wizards at his side. He's got Wanda and he's got that guy. He's got Mordo with him.
The thing is that Phase 4, do we know exactly how many movies there are?
In Phase 4? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think we.
Or the next. So basically, from Iron Man to Endgame, it was all working up towards Thanos. Yeah. Every single movie. And Infinity Stones or Thanos. That was basically the point. And we couldn't even see where it was going until Infinity War and Endgame was a thing. So it's gonna we could think we know what's gonna happen now, but they're so creative with this stuff, it could be completely out of left field.
Well, they did allude to Thanos in the first Avengers movie. Thanos did send Loki. True. They were always planning for that. And they have been planting the seeds because I think with Thanos, the seeds were the Infinity Stones. And the Infinity Stones are in practically every MCU movie in some capacity. Even Captain America, the first Avenger, when he's facing off with Red Skull and he has the Tesseract. It's got to be 15 movies that the Tesseract pops up in. That shit is in everything. And I mean...
also, but it was with all that stuff, they very clearly... delved heavily into the comics for inspiration with Thanos and with the Infinity Stones and with his, search for, trying to wipe out half of the life in the universe. They kind of switched up the reasons why to make it a little less stupid. But, it would make sense for them to be dropping seeds of what's, another big bad in the comics, which is Mephisto, and pulling things like the House of M, which he ended up being one of the bad guys in because he, steals her children and does, it makes sense for him to be a potential big bad because he was a big bad for all of these things in the comics.
So do you think that they're introducing the big bad right now as basically the first thing of Phase 4 other than the one Spider-Man movie? Do you think we are introducing him right now?
Doing a mid-tier big bad.
I think
he is a...
We're looking at a Loki Ultron level threat.
Yeah. He is the, oh God, he's, a big bad. And then in, 3 movies time, whenever they eventually defeat him, they'll realize, oh shit, he was just a pawn working for this other dude. Oh man, what are we going to do now?
Well, here's the thing too, is that thinking forward, we've got Fantastic Four coming, and you don't get Fantastic Four without introducing Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doom, I'm assuming, is going to have to play some role, right? Fantastic Four is set to be, a few years out.
Mm-hmm.
It's at some point we're building towards Doctor Doom because I can't imagine they bring in the Fantastic Four without Doctor Doom. They just don't do that.
So is Wanda going to be responsible for all mutants? do you think the mom will be referring to like she is the mother of all mutants? Because she has 2 kids, basically. I mean, I don't know.
I like this idea. I like this idea a lot, but
don't mutants already exist in the MCU?
I guess Deadpool's a thing.
Well, I mean, I'm not including X-Men and like Deadpool. I'm talking about like in our MCU.
No, they don't.
Because like in the Shield TV show and all that stuff, they're not really mutants, but
those are Inhumans.
Inhumans,
which are a different thing. Like Marvel has those coexisting in the comics. Inhumans.
Yeah.
Okay, the MCU they like to write in a lot of parallels, and I see a parallel where Wanda is giving birth, whether to real children or not, probably not, but they are mutants. She's giving birth to mutants. And I see the parallel happening.
See, and I don't disagree with this idea. I don't disagree with this idea at all.
She could be the one to bring mutants into the world. Maybe this is why people are mad at her, because these mutants turn evil, maybe, and they start, I don't know. I mean, it could go anywhere. I just can't wait for this episode. I hope it answers all of our questions. Probably won't. It's probably going to lead to 1,000 more.
We still got 4 more after this one. We got 5.
I know,
6,
it's crazy.
7, 8, 9.
Is it just me, or do you feel like we've gotten so much more in these first 4 episodes of this first season than we did? Like, I felt like Mando drug us out a lot longer.
They did. Well, I feel like we've already. It's a completely different thing. Obviously, Marvel's formatted completely different, but like we've already come to our first like revelation, and we never came to a revelation in Mandalorian until the end of the end of the finale is like when we first get the villain.
Yeah, but I will say, I guess it's fair to give Mando that amount of time to build that because they were building from scratch.
Yeah, they didn't have like none of the characters that were being.
There's a lot more busyness needed. There's a lot more busyness needed in this show, and a lot more has to happen fast. Okay, I have a theory I want to talk about just really quick. So
you're blowing it all now. Okay.
Yeah, no. In this episode, do you guys notice the part where they're cycling through all the people that they find missing, right? And they're placing all of these people. Oh, this person came from here. That their name is this. Family, no idea. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, one person's not there. Agnes. Okay, hear me out.
Theorized last week, Agnes is on some other shit.
Yeah, but here's where it gets interesting. I have a funny feeling Agnes is not going to be... I was erring to the side of bad. I have now changed my opinion on that. Here's why. So... have we noticed that Agnes has been very nice to her? And I know we use that as a weapon for her being like, oh, she's shady. She was being nice. Well, I take it back. She was being nice. I actually think that might be giving me credence for her being good. So in the comics, there's a character named Agatha Harkness. Okay. She's a powerful witch appearing in in the comic books. And she's one of the original witches from the Salem witch trials. She survived and later became a significant figure in the Marvel continuity and was a mentor to Wanda Maximoff in Real Magic. Agatha was eventually killed by Wanda, who went insane. She also had a familiar named Ebony, a weird cat-like creature that could sense the presence of mystical beings. And in the comics, she mentored Wanda. Wanda has kids. They refer to her as Auntie Agatha. So black cat-like creature. In the Wanda show, we get kitty litter called Auntie A's kitty litter. Auntie A.
You want to know something else about Agnes? In one of the first 3 episodes, I can't remember which one, Darty was in it. And Darty said, the devil is in the details, right? And then Agnes goes, that's not like, he's not only in the details. Like, he's in much more. Like she was like so on the side of knowing like about the devil, like just a line where Darty says the devil's in the details, and then Agnes is like, well, he's not only there.
He's like, in a lot more than that. That's what she says, or something like that.
Yeah, like that's kind of.
And
maybe she's working with good old Mephisto.
And maybe maybe Mephisto is the one controlling Wanda, or Wanda made a wish to Mephisto saying, hey, put me in this reality where everything's perfect for me, and blah, blah, blah.
But
and
when we go down this road, we're looking at a lot of off-screen importance.
Yeah, but maybe we get that, in the series.
Flashbacks, I guess, but like I just
not
can't
really. Or Wanda realizing how she came here and how she is here now.
Yeah,
like the whole realization episode. Whenever that happens, where everything comes together, and we're like, oh my god! Like the viewer and Wanda's perspective come to one, like to a point. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I mean, I don't necessarily believe wholeheartedly in it, but
no, I like where you're going because it's tough. I'm just thinking from a storytelling perspective. If they were to introduce Mephisto now, it would have to be within the next 2 or 3 episodes max, and then a whole nother episode would probably have to be spent figuring out how Wanda got here and how everything happened. And then the final episode would have to be them resolving the issue, or not resolving the issue and getting into a bridge for season 2. But I don't know. It's tough at this point. If we're getting like a big bad Mephisto type character, it's next episode or the episode after. And like we are fully realizing it.
Dude, it's literally like 3 hours away. Do you guys realize this? This is nuts.
Yeah.
Our whole understanding of this show is drastically going to be changed. I'm sure one of you is staying up. So, I mean, you guys are going to know in like 3 hours just how fucking crazy this shit's about to be.
Well, had you not told me it was coming out in 3 hours, I wasn't going to stay up. Now that I remember that it's coming out in 3 hours, I guess I have to stay up. So
Miles, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Shit, I'm not going to stay up, but you three all sound like you're staying up. Now I feel like I might have to fuck around and do it too.
Do it.
You should, so that we can immediately talk about it.
Oh! We've never done that, Joseph. You have a visitor. That was kind of scary. That kind of freaked me out, not going to lie to you.
Door just opened.
Sorry to break the fourth wall. Sorry to break the fourth wall there, visitor or listeners. But
It was my
going full Wanda on that Geraldine.
Oh, imagine his mom's name was actually Geraldine. Is it?
It's not. It's Joanna. So, no.
Damn.
There it is.
Sorry.
There it is, guys. Joseph's mom is not named Geraldine. The main headline
Big
from this
reveal.
episode.
And
Big reveal.
She is white. So, just throwing that one out there.
Here's the big takeaway from this episode. At the end, we did see Wanda throw Geraldine from this reality. She is in some way in control of it, and Geraldine is in some way familiar to that because of Wanda throwing her out. Geraldine, when she lands, she goes, "It's Wanda. It's all Wanda." Now, are we to trust her words in saying it's all Wanda? It sounds like nobody here does.
No, because I think she thinks it's all Wanda because that's the only, being in there, that's the only thing that you could think.
True.
Is Wanda doing all of this? And she can literally throw you out.
The line that I really like and sticks out for me is that I feel like Wanda's definitely controlling it, but somebody said that somebody is like censoring it. I don't remember who said it, but somebody felt
Darcy,
like somebody
probably
was censoring this.
Darcy,
Who?
yeah. Darcy.
Oh.
Darcy.
Which she was one of the people watching it, so I'm assuming she was the one who would have said that someone censored.
Yeah, I think she was the one that said it whenever something like something happened, whether it was the beekeeper or the them talking about Wanda's brother or something like that. She was like someone censoring it.
Oh, also, since we mentioned the beekeeper. Oh, go ahead, Kyler. Go ahead. Mine's not important.
Well, I just was saying, I guess I just want to know if somebody is censoring it, because that was like what somebody at Sword said that, right? When they said it was all Wanda, I thought that was what happened. Like when they realized that. So my understanding, I wonder now if that is who the cameo is going to be about. Like, is whoever it is that's censoring it, is that who this cameo is about? Like, what does that lead down? Like, what rabbit hole does that take us down? Like, goddamn, crazy. Well, the beekeeper guy, also interesting if we want to go there. I guess you had a point, though. Sorry, I shouldn't have.
No, I'm gonna build on that on the censoring thing. So, if we are looking at a censoring thing, and we're looking at Agnes as Agatha, she's kind of
trying to protect her.
She's been around everywhere. There's been a glitch. She was at the meeting with Dottie. She stopped by the dinner to bring the 4-course meal. She walked up when Wanda saw the helicopter. She in the 4th episode, she's like, "Is Geraldine inside? Like, is that a thing that's happening?" Right after that, Geraldine
she was talking to Herb after he fucking
was tweaking
into the wall.
Tweaking.
Absolutely. See, those are important things, I think, now. And I think I'm back on that Agnes has something to do with this train. And I'm a little bit more on Kyler's side now that it's not bad. She's kind of
what if Agnes knows what is supposed to happen? Like, these certain events are going to happen. Maybe this isn't even really Wanda. Maybe this is a test of how Wanda would react to putting her in a lockdown environment, like putting her in her own reality. Maybe this is just a test of how Wanda reacts to certain things going on. And that's how she knows, hey, is Geraldine in her house right now? Like, is this event happening right now? And maybe this is why Vision's job.
I love your mind, and I love it working.
Yeah, like Vision's job is literally him.
I love it.
Measuring
inputs
and outputs. Oh man, dude, in the Beekeeper, like Geraldine was thrown out, and we see what happens to her. The Beekeeper, we don't know what happened to him. Is he gone?
So what I want to know is did you notice how when he goes in, he's wearing a sword branded like hazmat suit? It's not a Beekeeper suit. It is a hazmat, which I didn't notice that until the second watch, which don't ask me how I missed it. Because I did notice that the chain he was attached to turned into like an old ass jump rope, which I thought was a nice touch. Reminded me of elementary school.
Yeah, I was going to say, reminded me of childhood.
But I guess I want to know if we've kind of figured, if we've cracked the code, I guess, on what these things, if these things coming in are switching into, if they're matching the reality, what is the Beekeeper's relevance? Like, what does beekeeping have to do with this timeline, like in this time?
I've got to think that it is just altering to the reality, because we saw the drone turn into the tiny helicopter. So my massive helicopter blowing up and crashing into Wanda's yard was really fucking wrong. But we take it as it comes. And I think that maybe a Beekeeper, like, it's just the closest thing that wouldn't look weird. And I mean, obviously, it's still weird.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, because you're limited to your, like, he was in a hazmat suit. So, like, what can you do with a hazmat suit that looks normal? Yeah. So I guess I see what you're saying. Although I still feel like a hazmat suit is way better at, like, 2:00 in the morning than a fucking Beekeeper. But I get, you know what?
And coming out of the sewers, a hazmat suit makes a lot more sense than a Beekeeper.
Yeah, okay. Holy crap. I think the Beekeeper is way bigger than we ever think, because everything is...
I'm so excited for this. Please let it go. Let it go.
In the shape of a hexagon. And what's else in the shape of a hexagon? A beehive. The beehive has a queen. The queen is Wanda. She is controlling everyone else. They're doing tasks for her. This is literally a beehive, and Wanda's the queen.
Queen bee. Oh.
Did I not say a couple podcasts ago?
Joseph, hold on.
This is why we keep talking. This is the best. Keep talking, because you stumble upon this shit right here, bro. Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
That's the best. That's the best theory for the Beekeeper. It has to be. Okay, yeah. It's the only even slightly explainable thing.
Right there, yes sir. That's that shit right there. I see.
You know when you have genius moments, and they just flow, like. I felt so good in that situation right there.
No, Joseph, I just need you to understand that just sometimes when you say stuff, we may laugh and think it's absurd, but when we don't want to let that discourage you. Like, bro, keep this shit coming, because you stumble upon stuff like that.
I mean, every once in a while, Joseph will just stumble upon to some fucking genius, because that right there that's perfect. Like, that's by far the best explanation we have for the Beekeeper as of right now. Is that, if this is a reality created by Wanda, and it is her subconscious, and it is operating automatically as sort of a beehive. All these people performing tasks around her to keep upkeep the town and shit. There's the distinct possibility that all these people who are playing their roles are just their little servant bees to the queen bee, Wanda Maximoff herself. Or it could be still, we could be going with that other thing like Agatha Harkness. Some shit like that. You never know. But that is by far the best explanation we have for the beekeeper. So thank you, Joseph.
Another thing that bees do, specifically the queen bee, they have a hive mind sort of networking system that they do. So whatever the queen bee says, it goes. So if the queen bee all of a sudden decides, you know what, we need to attack, they all have the same things going on in their mind, and they only know to attack. So literally, it's just a metaphor of what's happening inside of Wanda's reality. The other hand of it is that Wanda isn't the queen bee, and Mephisto or some other person is controlling this hive, I guess, if you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know. I would really like to see if they actually call it a beehive or something like that, because then I'd feel extra genius.
Yo, if they ever refer to it in the future as like her beehive or something or some shit like that, then no doubt you're spot on with that theory. Like, we get one more thing that's bee alluding, you're 100% right.
I just want to know what happened to the dude. Is he just gone forever?
That's a really good question. Is he now in the reality as the beekeeper, or is
no? Because it rewound, so I feel like it had to have been like a thing where he went up, it rewinded him. He probably still remembered because he's from like outside of this universe or outside of this like dimension, and so he was just like, all right, I'm a fucking dip because clearly she doesn't want me up there.
Does Wanda have all of the powers of the stones right now? Because that's basically Time Stone-esque.
No, she just, her like powers, she can like kind of like somewhat warp reality, and so that would fall under reality too.
I think it's based under the reality she's in, because she's in a
because
sitcom
she can
and
control
TV
that reality.
She
can do things like kind of just rewind and shit. Or whoever's censoring it can.
Dude, we're gonna get it so soon. Oh.
We're gonna fucking get it. Is there anything else you guys want to say about this previous episode?
Honestly, I think we're just kind of going in circles, and we don't really know what the heck is going on still. So I think the best thing to do is just watch the next episode and then come back dumbfounded whenever we were all wrong.
Oh, 100%.
Man,
I'm fucking ready for that.
I'm not ready to eat a slice of that humble pie, though. I want to believe that I'm correct all the time.
Thanos is coming back with the Infinity Gauntlet. That's the big bad for stage 4.
Yeah, could you imagine if they were just like,
that'd be such a smack in the face. God damn.
It'd be really damn funny, though.
I want to say one thing, is if a beehive is mentioned, you will take all of my opinions as fact from now on.
Well,
only when I have moments like that.
Forget is that for every beehive, you do have the sexual tensions and the pretty long reaches as well. So, like, we don't know that like we're batting 1,000 here.
We still don't know that Mando isn't in love with every person I mentioned. So we don't know this.
I guess we don't yet. But
we have established he's a cowboy slut.
Listen,
a cowboy slut.
We haven't seen the body yet. They haven't declared that he's not in love with every single woman. So it's still up in the air.
No body, no crime. So are y'all ready for next week? Is that where we're leaving this?
Can we just do it tomorrow? After the episode's over?
To be honest, I'd be down to do it. I'd be down to do it like I don't know about tomorrow night. I don't know if that works, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We
gotta let it sit a couple days so we can let all these opinions stew inside of us and get really, really weird.
I usually watch the episode 3 times before we record.
Yeah. Same. I only 2, but.
Well, definitely 2, sometimes 3. I should have. Usually 2, sometimes 3. But that's just how we do. That's just how we do on the Penny Bloom podcast. This Marvel : the WandaVision : the Watchmen. That's just what we do. The Penny Bloom podcast. We're really about it. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you for allowing me to share my genius with the world. Well, 1 out of 10 genius.
Of course. And every now and then we get some genius here. Thank you very much, Miles Buttress.
Hey, anytime, man.
And next week, even potentially tomorrow, we don't know.
Who can ever really know?
Who could ever really know? But next week even. And on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot, we've got KBZ, Kyler Barnett. Thank you very much for joining me, my friend.
Absolutely, can't wait for
Absolutely. Again, this was the Penny Bloom podcast, the WandaVision Watch. Always remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Keanu Reeves.
Which Keanu Reeves could become a character.
Maybe. But praise him.
Good night.
And while we're at it, praise Pedro Pascal.